And we are live, guys. Welcome. This is Joseph Darling from Women of High Value channel. What we're going to talk about today is, should I always blame him? Yes. Yes, you should. Now, let me explain this a little bit more, because people have a hard time understanding this, especially men. And, I mean, no one wonders why, of course, because what I'm basically saying to people is that women are absolutely awesome. Now, sometimes, people grow up with that mindset, especially if they're Christian, very good boys, nice guys. And then eventually their hearts are crushed when they discover women's darkness. And they discover women's subtle sneakiness and the dangers of women. And I understand them, because I know what you guys are thinking. I know the secrets that you have inside that you're not sharing with your loved ones, with your husbands, with your boyfriends, or with anyone. You've got secrets that you haven't told absolutely anyone. And that's okay. But I move beyond that. And I see women for who they truly are. Wonderful feminine creatures who basically simply need their innocence to be able to fly. They're like birds that need their innocence in order to create wind beneath their wings. Women are the way they are because of burden. You put burdens on top of a woman, she will try to rescue the world. She will try to be Superwoman. She'll try to bear the whole burden herself because there's no one else around. She will try to provide for her kids, to climb the corporate ladder. She'll try to make everyone happy at the dinner table, making food for this person and remembering their likes and dislikes while she's cooking it. She's gonna care about what other people think because she's a feminine creature. Now, unfortunately, the more burdened and the more maxed out a woman becomes, we get into problems. Because the more burden she gets, the more masculine she will become. The more masculine, the less in touch with her femininity she'll be, and the less happy a woman will be. A woman thrives in her femininity. A woman thrives in her sexuality when she's allowed to let go and be filled with emotion and just allow it to wrap her body and wrap her mind and everything that she is. Women want to be in the now. And when they're feminine, they're able to do that because emotion takes over their body in such a powerful way that women cannot describe the happiness and the joy and the passion. And they cannot believe that it's possible that they feel this way. That is the potential of women, and most women never experience it. You know when they experience it? If their fathers take full responsibility for their daughters and for the happiness of the mother, young girls feel that happiness. Young girls grow to their teenage years. They have their girlfriends, and they're not too much involved with guys yet. And they have a father who protects and preserves her and gives her what she needs of food, clothing, shelter, and sometimes toys. Women in their feminine state are excited, are giggly, are bubbly, are full of life. And that is how women are supposed to be throughout their entire lives. If we can manage to unburden women completely. You listen to this and you're like, this is not real. This is not real life. It doesn't make any sense because no one does it. Just because no one does it doesn't mean it's not the correct way. Just because no one is experiencing this on a daily basis doesn't mean it's not possible. We have to open up our minds and see the scope of possibilities that can be ours in the future as we evolve as a human species. There's never been a time in history where women have been completely unburdened. And yet we are arriving to this unprecedented time that no one has seen before. And we're just throwing out the vision of what's possible if we manage to do one thing. And that is to place all burdens on the man. This is why I enjoy it when feminists blame men and patriarchy. And they blame basically everything that has happened in the past and the oppression of women. And I agree. It did not work. Because if it had worked as a society and as a concept and the way they practiced it, then women would be happy. Then women would be fired up about marriage. Then women would be ecstatic about getting married and trusting a man to provide for her and to give her everything that she wants and needs. Is that happening today? No. Do some women believe that that's going to happen when they enter into marriage? Yes. And half of the time, and sometimes more, divorce happens. I wonder why. Is because the man did not deliver up according to her expectations. And the man sometimes thought that he could do more than what he believed he could. Or what he managed to do. So how do we apply this principle? First of all, we need to know about it. First of all, we need to know that it's actually possible. Because if we find out that it's possible and it's true, that's basically something we have to figure out on our own. Then it could do wonders for women. My whole goal in life is to unburden women and children because they deserve it. They don't deserve being burdened. They don't deserve to be unhappy. They don't deserve to cry. They don't deserve to be put in a place where they have to fight for their survival or compete for attention or compete for food. Women become competitive when they are masculine. When a woman's emotional needs are completely fulfilled, women are feminine and they share willingly with everyone that they come in contact with. Because there's enough and plenty to spare. So how do we do this? First of all, now that we know that it exists, we're going to try it out. So let's say the man cheats on his woman. Oh no. Who is to blame? Obviously the man. The woman cheats. Dang. Who is to blame? The man. What? Not the woman? No. You blame the man. Why is she cheating? Now, I'm not saying, you have to understand, I'm not giving you an excuse to do it. And there will be probably massive consequences to you cheating. So I'm not giving you any license to do anything of the sort. I'm just explaining that a woman that has not heard this message that I'm sharing with you now, if she cheats, there's a reason for why she cheats. An emotional reason. Logically, she wants to save her marriage, because if she didn't want to save her marriage, she'd break up first, she'd finish with the divorce, and then she would move on. Then it wouldn't be cheating. Why is she cheating? She's cheating because she wants to keep the marriage. And she wants to keep the kids. And then her emotions told her to do something else. The reason why she cheated in the first place was because the man that she was with was way lower value than the man that presented to her a physical opportunity. The man is to blame for not providing an environment where the woman naturally follows and loves and adores her husband. That's the only reason why she goes ahead and cheats. And she does not look up to her husband as a leader. And there you have it. A man overspends. And he goes into debt. Whose fault is that? The man's. A woman that overspends and goes into debt. Whose responsibility is that? The man's. That's right. I'm exempting you from all blame. Why? Why would I do that? Because when we blame the man, it's so much easier to fix the problem. We should always blame the leader. The leader deserves the blame. Now, this puts it in a small predicament because there's a lot of women out there who believe that men and women are supposed to be equal partners. Great. But then you get into a problem because then they have to work together as a team with everything. And yet women expect the man to be the leader because that's the only thing that turns them on. Right? Because if you didn't look to him as a leader, then the relationship wouldn't really work anymore. Or at least you wouldn't be very fond of him and interested in him in that manner, shape, or form. So, what we're trying to do is to help alleviate your burden, toss it over to him, and then allow him to be the leader completely. Obviously, you have to trust him for this. But that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring back trust to the relationships of fathers and mothers so that they can create hospitable and wonderful families. The only way we can make that happen is if women begin to trust men again. And how can they trust the men if they keep retaining the responsibility and the blame for the bad things that they do? Is it going to be harder in the beginning to practice this principle? Yes. Why is it harder? Because all hell will break loose because he sucks. We know your husbands suck. You know that your husband sucks. But the fact that you are placing all of your burdens on him, it invites him to become a warrior. It invites him to become a leader. It induces a power in your husband, in your man, that lights his candles and gives him motivation for super action. If you manage to get through the beginning hard times of getting the wheel started, it can take a few months, maybe sometimes a few years. But once it is established, him as a leader will take full responsibility, full blame, and he will have full control over the environment. And you don't have to think about anything other than enjoying the now and making the now amazing for everyone else around you. That's my vision. Does it work? Try it out and see. But I'm preparing men of high value for all of you if you follow this system. This is the Women of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling, and I'll see you again tomorrow.